I want to talk about the front cross member and all the components, just in case you need it for reference. As you can see, there's loads of bits, and it looks quite complicated the way some bits pivot, some bits turn, and you've got bouncy bits and all sorts of stuff. So what's what? The actual cross member itself is this main solid, big, thick component there. That's the cross member. These are links. So you've got a lower link, which is the 2 bars, then you've got an upper link, which is this horseshoe shaped bar at the top. The way it pivots when you're going down the road is it pivots on 2 fulcrums, and the fulcrum points are bolted solid to the bodywork, and then you've got 2 pivot bolts, so they're floating and they can sort of like work like elbows and knees, and they're your pivot bolts there. And then running through the middle, carrying the weight, is your kingpin, and the kingpin's got 2 bleed nipples on the back of it, and that's your kingpin there. Of course, you've got your brakes, you got your back plate, and then your wheel fixes to this. This is a stub axle. So that's the way that they'll work. Obviously, you got your spring and your shock absorber. This is actually held in place at the moment because the shock absorber is fitted, and it's the shock absorber to stop it going. That springs at about 90% of its compression. If I undid the top of that shock absorber, it would twang open and the spring would come flying out. So it's the shock absorber holding it in place. This top link plate is resting on this like carrier thing that they provide. Once it's actually fitted to the vehicle, what that needs is you jack the bottom up, and then this link plate comes over and it's actually bolted to the bodywork back here, or to the back of this actually, but you can't do it while it's off the vehicle, so how it's sitting isn't what it looks like on the vehicle. And then just to cover the steering side of things, you've got like a steering arm here. Your steering wheel goes on that side, so that'll fit in there, and as you turn the steering wheel, the steering box moves it left and right. On the back of your stub axle, you've got these steering arms, and they bolt for really long bolts on the bottom, and that goes across, and in between there and there sits this, which is a track rod. And then just to cover, on the end of the track rod, these track rod ends or ball joints, they go on there. They'll only go one way because these are actually tapered holes on the steering arm, so it drops down and it fits in, so it's actually snug. But if you try and do it the wrong way, it's all loose and baggy and the thread doesn't stick out, so they'll only ever go one way because of the tapering. This normally would obviously have a dust boot over it, but I've taken them off on tilly because I want to grease them all up. The important thing with these track rods is these are what make your wheels level, so you don't want them towing out and you don't want them towing in. You want them level for wear. Sometimes because of the weight of them, they'll be slightly out, so that as you're driving along, the weight of it brings it in. But the important thing with these is to note that they're opposite threads, so that doesn't fit on this end and vice versa. So if they ever come off, you have to make sure you put the right one on. And just to explain that, if I push up on the back of that nut, you can see that lock nut's moving away from there. Likewise, if I push up on that one, it's also moving away. So they're not lefty loosey or righty tighty. The idea being is ordinarily you'd move the lock nuts off, and if I twist the bar itself, it makes it longer or shorter, so that I can adjust the steering geometry. The only other thing is on the back, you've got 2 holes in the lower link, and on the back you've got this stabilising bar, they're called on commas, but anti-roll bars on a lot of other vehicles. And then the idea of that is you've 2 wheels pressing down on the ground, and as you go around the bend, it leans over, so it puts more weight on one wheel. So you don't want this wheel starting to come loose, so you lose traction. So what happens is as that weight's going down, the bar twists, and it actually brings this wheel down in that twisting motion, and that keeps your wheel on the ground. So if ever you feel like you're losing traction, these stabilisers on commas have got like these little tie rods, so if these start to come loose, you could end up losing traction as you go around bends, and that would be down to your stabilising bar. And I think that's it. Oh, the only other thing I'll cover while I'm here is the shock absorber on these. That's a new shock absorber. I bought from a company called KYB, which is a Thailand company, but they're quite big in the manufacturing, and the components 444 132. It doesn't fit straight away. The on the bottom, the hole on the bottom is quite big, whereas on the Tillies they've got like a, on the Commons they've got a little thing, so you need to do a little bit of packing out, but other than that everything else works perfect. And that's it. The common front subframe suspension thing, these are unique as well. You don't get them on modern cars no more, so that's why I just thought I'd run through the points on it.